If you're trying to lose fat and not seeing results, then this video is for you. I'm going to take you through a 9-step checklist of things that you should be doing if you're looking to dial in your nutrition. Now, I'd encourage you guys to follow along at home with this, so you can grab a pen and paper, or you can download this exact checklist that we're about to walk through, and the link is in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into it. My name is Ryan. I'm an ex-NRL player, online coach, and natural bodybuilder, and this channel is all about finding the most efficient way to help you lose fat and build muscle. Step number 1, do you know your maintenance calories? Now I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate your maintenance calories. First of all, you're just going to go straight onto Google and you're going to look up calorie calculator. First one that should pop up is calorie.net. Now, this is a pretty good one. It's simple to use. It's fairly accurate. These things aren't perfect, but it's a really good starting point to get you guys going. Now I'm just going to enter in my details. So I'm 35 years of age. Obviously you would enter your details. And height is 185. For this particular video, I'm going to go with a weight of 100 kilos. Just makes it easier for calculations. You'll see in the coming steps why I'm doing that. And then we are going to go with a moderate exercise. So this is your activity that you find during the day. So for myself, I get around 12 to 15,000 steps a day, and I'm on my feet majority of the day as well, being a PT. So for majority of people watching this, especially if you have quite a sedentary job, maybe you're getting around 8,000 or so steps a day, I'd probably go to light. To even some people might be sedentary if they're less than 8,000 steps. But generally no one's going to be active, very active, or extra active. I just think that's a little bit of an overkill. Plus, if you're in a fat loss journey, you kind of want to get things going. You can always adjust calories up if you need to. But I kind of always like to overshoot the deficit rather than undershoot it, just to get things going. As I said, you can always pull things back. So I would either be choosing moderate or light for your activity levels. Once you have selected that, then you can go through and hit calculate. And what this is going to do is it's going to spit you out the top number, which is your maintenance calories. So if you're someone who fits that description, then you are going to be 2,910 calories per day to maintain your weight. Now, step number 2, are you in a calorie deficit of 500 calories per day? Now, a good thing about the calorie calculator, especially the calculator on .net, is that it'll actually give you the 500 calorie per day deficit. Okay, so this third number now down where you have 2,410 calories is a 500 calorie deficit from the top maintenance number. So you can literally just take that number and that will ensure that you're losing 500 grams of fat per week, as long as we are doing the things that I'm about to show you in a second. But there will get you started with that 2,400 calorie per day deficit. Step number 3, are you getting enough protein? Now, I would recommend getting at least 2 grams per kilo of body weight per day of protein. The reason that this is important is because we want to make sure that we're maintaining as much muscle mass as possible. So in the first 2 steps, we put ourselves in a calorie deficit. Now, a calorie deficit is great for losing overall body weight. But if we want to make sure that overall body weight that we're losing is coming specifically from fat, then we need to make sure that we're eating a high protein diet to maintain as much muscle, even build muscle during our fat loss phase. So if you're a 100 kilo individual, you're going to be having 200 grams of protein per day. Another great thing about protein, it's going to make you feel fuller for longer as well. And also it has a slight thermogenic effect, so you're going to burn a little bit more calories throughout the day. Step number 4, are you spreading your protein feedings across 3+ meals per day? Now, in research, they recommend having at least 3 servings of protein per day, especially if you're in a fat loss phase. Now, 3, you're probably going to be just fine, but I do recommend, and I myself have 4 to even 5 servings of protein per day, just to make sure that we're ticking all the boxes possible. Plus, I find that having a few more extra feedings of protein through the day allows me to feel a little bit fuller throughout the day as well. Step number 5, are you getting at least 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories? Now, fiber is fantastic for our health. There was a recent meta-analysis that showed that every 10 gram of fiber increase, there's a 10% decrease in all-cause mortality, which is obviously amazing for our health. but it also is amazing for fat loss because it's going to allow us to feel fuller for longer as fiber pulls water into the digestive system, which is going to make us feel fuller for longer. And usually we're going to be getting fiber from sources like fruit and veg, which are amazing for fat loss because you can eat so much of fruit and veg whilst keeping calories low. So I definitely recommend of the fiber that you are eating that you come from sources like fruit and vegetables. Step number 6, are most of your calories coming from high volume, low calorie sources of food? Now, the hardest thing about dieting is adhering to the diet. We want to make sure that we are solving our hunger and our cravings by having these higher volume, lower calorie foods to make us feel fuller for longer. It's going to allow us to eat more food for less calories, making it easier to adhere to our calorie deficit. So having lean protein sources is going to make sure that we are able to hit our calorie target without accumulating a whole heap of calories. And having foods like fruit and vegetable, as I spoke about before, huge source of fiber. You can have heaps of them for very minimal calories. So I would always recommend that majority of your calories should be coming from these high volume, low calorie dense foods. Step number 7, are you getting at least 0.7 grams of fat per kilo body weight per day? Now, the main reason I say this is that we want to make sure that we're staying on top of our hormonal health during this fat loss phase, and we're also supporting the absorption of our fat soluble vitamins. And we need to make sure that we have a minimum amount of fat per day to support these two things. Now, if you're someone who has a higher body fat percentage, which may elevate this number, you can also just go with 20% of your calories coming from fat. Now, it's important that we're hitting these minimum thresholds to support our hormone health and also the absorption of our fat soluble vitamins when in a fat loss phase. Step number 8, is the rest of our calories coming from carbohydrates to help fuel performance and training in the gym? Now, I will say that the ratio of carbohydrates and fats during a fat loss phase isn't super important when it comes to losing fat. So you could go high carb, high fat, low fat. You're likely going to get similar results. However, this video is about dialing in your nutrition, and what I recommend to clients and also what I follow with myself is a more higher carbohydrate diet, as you can have more fruits, more vegetables. You can also have potato as well, which is super low in calorie and is going to make you feel full. Having these forms of food is going to allow you to eat more food for less calories, as opposed to the other fat versions where you might be getting from oils, which won't make you feel super satiated. Maybe nut butters, again, not super satiating. So although it is important to make sure we're meeting our minimum threshold, as we spoke about in the last step, we want to make sure that we aren't going overboard on the fats because they're not super satiating, especially when it comes to how satiating some carbohydrates are. And also we want to make sure we're fueling our workouts. So when we're doing resistance training, we have the energy coming from our stored carbohydrates known as glycogen in the muscle to fuel our workouts, to make sure that we are able to maintain as much muscle mass during our fat loss phase as well. So for these 2 points, I generally recommend going with a bit more of a higher carbohydrate diet. But in saying that, as long as you're ticking off 1 to 6 of this list, you're probably going to be okay. And these last 2 points are really if you're looking to dial in your nutrition. Step number 9, are you drinking at least 30 mils of water per kilo body weight per day? Now, the main reason I recommend this is there was a study that was recently published showing that people who drank more water, especially around their meal times, were actually able to lose more weight because they found it easier to adhere to the diet because they felt less hungry from drinking the extra amount of water. So they found it easier to stick to their calorie deficit. So this is why I recommend drinking at least 30 mils of water per kilo of body weight per day to try and squash hunger as best as possible. And I would also recommend drinking a fair bit of water around your meal times. It seems to help with the feeling of satiety. Now, if you had a few unticked boxes or a few no's, I would start at the top and work your way down the list, as I've listed these in order of importance. So we want to make sure that we know our maintenance calories. We want to make sure we're in a calorie deficit. We also want to make sure that we're in high protein. working our way down the list. As I said, I've listed this as an order of importance, and I guarantee that if you can tick all 9 of these off and do it for a long enough period of time, you are going to see the results that you desire. Hope this has been helpful, guys. As always, do those good things: like, subscribe, share, leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you want a little bit more of an understanding around these high volume, low calorie dense foods, then I'll be definitely checking out this video here as I go into a deep dive of some really great food swaps that you can use to make sure that you are able to adhere to your calorie deficit. So I'd be giving that one a watch. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one.